Greetings and very good afternoon, one and all present here. I am S. Soundarya Lahari, studying in BSc third year MSCS, Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College, Tirupati. On behalf of ICT Academy, I feel privileged to welcome you all for the virtual power seminar on goal setting. Now, I request our principal, Dr. D. Asha Lata ma'am, to address the gathering. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Lahari. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Manoj sir. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Indeed, we are indebted and thankful to ICT Academy for always very positively associating with us, as well as giving us an option to participate in activities like this. Actually, the virtual power seminars, they give a lot of scope for the students to connect. During the pandemic, we have seen so much of activity happening in our campus as well, because we are powered actually by the vision and mission of our very great and honorable chairperson and now the Chancellor of MBU University, Dr. Manju Mohan Babu Garu, and our ever CEO, Shri Manju Vishnu Garu, to take up activities which will make the students very independent in their thought process as well as achievements. That is what is the motto of our new university, which we are coming up with. That is dream, believe, and achieve. And that is what is goal setting all about. Thank you, Manoj sir. On behalf of ICT Academy, you are here today to enlighten our students. I welcome all the participants with a kind of a note that, see, the goal setting is not about the achievement. It comes on a later stage. But when we start with it, it's all about how we believe in our performance, how we actually motivate, strategize, work out, determine, do things. This is all about how our mind perceives things and then starts believing it, and we start executing the action plan. So goal setting is a wonderful journey that we take up in life, and it will make us so very strong in our achievements in days to come. Sometimes, it may seem a very small thing, but one step at a time. Yes, goal setting is an important process of our day-to-day activities and day-to-day successful journeys that we do in our lifetime. I think ICT Academy was good enough to give us this topic today, which is a kind of a topic which is the trend of the day, the motto of the day, or what we call as it's an need of the hour. So thank you very much. And I'm thankful to Mr. Janardhan and Hariharan sir also for always coordinating with us from the ICT Academy. The floor is all yours, Manoj sir, and you can talk to our students, faculty, and all the participants who are joining us live on the YouTube for this wonderful session. Thank you, everybody, and God bless all of us.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I feel privileged to introduce our today's esteemed speaker, Mr. Gregory Manoj sir, to the students. Mr. Gregory Manoj sir is currently now working as Senior Manager Training at Allsec Technologies Limited. Sir had been associated with Allsec Technologies for the past 19 years and had given a valuable contribution to the organization. He holds his Masters of Business Administration degree in Human Resources Management and Services from Pondicherry University, Puducherry. He has Mechanical Bachelor's of Engineering degree from Madras University. Being an able person with a very good experience in IT industry, it's our delight to have Sir as our today's speaker to enlighten our students about the need of having goal in our career. Now, I feel extremely elated to call upon Mr. Gregory Manoj sir to begin his talk. Please, sir.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are doing well. For starters, just wanted to check, are you able to hear me as well as see me? Can somebody confirm?
Yes, sir. We're able to see you.
Wonderful. So, goes to show how serious all of you are about goal setting. As a matter of fact, on Saturday afternoon, a time when most of them would be planning the weekend or would be doing something else, I have a large group of students and also equally interested faculty members who are sitting on a session for goal setting itself says how serious you are about your future and about your careers. So having said that, I begin my session by thanking God for connecting all of us. And the very fact that you and I are even alive today is all thanks to God Almighty in today's situation, because we've seen what has happened with the pandemic and how things have affected a lot of people around us. So Next up, I'd like to thank the bridge between the two entities right now, which is one, the ICT Academy, for connecting the industry to the educational institutions, whereby we from the industry can share our experience with students. And this is something that wasn't very readily available when I was in school or even college. All right. So big thanks to them. And an even bigger thanks for your college management who understand the value of such sessions, right? Because these sessions are highly impactful, definitely will be a game changer. So it's good. So before I get started, I just want to find out what are some of your expectations from this session? Because I know there are about 62 people here in this call. So what are your expectations? Do you have anything that you want to specifically know about goal setting that I can talk about? Or otherwise, I will just approach the topic on a very generic basis.
The students who are there in this live call can connect to sir and answer the questions. I think they have the option, sir.
Oh, they do, is it? Wonderful, ma'am. Thank you.
Those who are in the Zoom can talk to you, sir. Those who are on the YouTube cannot talk. But
Okay,
these people,
wonderful.
they have the access.
So those on YouTube, if you have any of your friends or professors who are logged into this call, you can always send them a WhatsApp question, and I'm sure they will go ahead and answer or read out the question to me so that I know this is something that I would like to talk about.
Sir, it actually depends. It can either be a long-term goal or a short-term goal. So on a long-term basis, we'll be planning what we want to be after like 10 years, like choosing a proper career settlement. But in short-term goal, it can be like what is the next step right after we finish our bachelor's degree, and to see good growth in our life. Like last year maybe I would be weak in something. This year I would like to want to see a growth in that particular thing, and what I have to do after my degree, that would be my short term goal.
Okay. Now you gave me a definition for what is a long-term goal and a short-term goal. My question is, what is your goal?
My goal is I like to teach, so probably I would look up to myself being as a professor at a reputed university after few years, maybe.
Okay. All right, fine. So you would like to get into the teaching line. Excellent. Wonderful. Okay, I think Vedashwi is trying to speak. Vedashwi, just unmute yourself and we'd be so happy to hear you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Vedashwi.
My short-term goal is to be placed in a reputed company,
Okay.
and my long-term goal to be an IAS officer. That's all, sir.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Who even is saying that? I don't know if it's a technical. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Raveen. Okay, so let me go ahead and start. Maybe I think some of them would have had a very heavy lunch, and that usually can do it. If you have a very heavy lunch, your food can kind of be blocking the words that want to come out of your mouth. Okay, so I'll start off my session by giving you you could call it a compass. Okay, you know what a compass is. Okay, it points north south. Now, why do people use a compass? It's to give them a, if you are somewhere, okay, you don't know where you are. Today, of course, people have smartphones. You take Google Maps and say, or type in your address, you can get to your address. But back in the day when mobile phones were not very easily available, okay, and people had to travel long distances, they always relied on a compass. Okay, this compass will tell them, because wherever they are, the compass will always point north south, and they'll know, okay, I'm heading east, I'm heading west, I'm heading southwest, northeast, northwest, whatever be the direction. So that way, even without even knowing the route, people could kind of get to where they wanted to go. That's the destination. So there is a compass that you can have, that you have, okay, when it comes to setting goals in your life. Okay, and I'll introduce that compass to you. But before that, let me even talk about goals, because there are so many people. I didn't get an answer for my question. So let me tell you why the term goal is very important in your life. Okay. Now, everybody is here on this planet for a reason. if you are able to identify that reason, then you know that you have a goal in life. Okay. If your reason is to wake up every day, brush your teeth, have a bath, eat breakfast, watch TV, sleep, all right, and again maybe have lunch, and again watch TV, go out for a walk, come back, have tea, coffee, snacks, sit down, watch television, have dinner, and go back to bed. Well, you still do have a goal. That goal is called a survival goal. You're just there to survive on this planet and go. All right. So if you're living a life of survival, all right, when you go further years down your life, let's say when you are about 40 years old, okay, you turn back and you look at your life. What you see might not give you a sense of achievement, a sense of satisfaction, or anything for that matter. Okay. On the other hand, there is something called a life of existence. All right. So if you live a life of existence as opposed to survival, you will achieve things in your life. All right. And if you look back, for example, you have a photo album, you go on that photo album and you look at it, you will say, okay, when I was a child, I did this. When I was a little boy or a girl, I achieved this. When I grew up and went to college, I achieved this, I did this. Right after college, okay, I bought my own, let's say, car, I bought my own two-wheeler, I bought my own house, right? I got the job that I wanted to get, right? I went to the country I wanted to go to. So all this is a milestone. So when you look back, okay, that will kind of make you feel happy, satisfied, and contented with what you achieved in your life. Sometimes you will hear people, I mean, sadly, there are a few people, when they look back at their life and they see they have not done much, some people decide life is not worth living and end their life. Sad fact. That's how I mean, I have to say it because it's a harsh reality that you have to face. So it's like this. When you are, I'm sure all of us have two-wheelers, or some of us, yes, our family might own a four-wheeler. When you're driving a car, okay, what you see in the car, all right, as a driver, when you're driving the car, okay, or when you're sitting on the driver's seat, or like a two-wheeler, when you're sitting right on the front seat, holding the handlebar, you have a steering wheel, okay, that kind of steers the direction of where the car or the bike is going to go. And in front of you, okay, if you're in a car, you have a windshield, all right, the glass in front of you through which you see the road ahead. And then there is also a few other things, okay, that you can see. One is called the rear view mirror, which is right there on top. And then you have two side view mirrors. All right, on the bike, I don't think so you have a rear view mirror over you, but on your left and right, you have, yes, two side view mirrors. Now, these mirrors, if you are going on a long ride, will show you where you have been. Okay, so if you're like leaving a city and you're going to another city, or for example, I know your college is there in Tirupati, but if you're leaving the town of Tirupati and you're traveling somewhere outside of that, okay, you will always see the place that you're leaving behind you, okay, and it will always have memories associated with it. So if you're there, I don't know, right now summer vacations are starting for schools here, and I'm sure we all remember this when we were all in school. We would go to visit our relatives, and when we leave our relatives, we always, I mean, the kids would always turn around and keep looking at the family from the back of the car, or turn around from their parents' shoulder on the motorcycle and keep looking at what we're leaving. All right. Now, some of us, we were really small, will cry. Why? Because we're leaving a very happy place, and we may be going, we're just losing all that fun, excitement, and happiness. There are some people, especially little kids, all right, they'll be waving their hand to all their cousins, uncles, aunties, grandma, grandpa, the whole family. Okay. So this is what you leave behind you, all right, and what you're moving away from can do to you. So that is why it is very important to have goals in your life, because these are milestones that you achieve. Okay. Now, imagine if I were to travel from Chennai to, let's say, Delhi, okay, from south all the way up to north, okay. I get into a train, okay, and this is a very slow train. It's going to take me at least about 1 year to go from here all the way there. Now I get into a compartment. I shut all the windows down. Okay, I don't have access to anything outside. I cannot see what's outside. I cannot do anything outside. And for 1 full year, I'm inside that train. Okay, when I reach Delhi, yes, I am there in Delhi. But if you ask me, did I enjoy the ride? I will say no. Every day for the 365 days that I've been on this stupid train, is what people would say, I was just doing the same thing. On the other hand, okay, imagine if you are traveling in a similar train, but now you have all the windows open, the doors open, every station the train stops, you get down, you run around, look, you play, all right, you eat what's the local food that's being served there, and you come back inside, all right. 365 days will give you 365 different memories, okay, that you have in this journey. So when you finally go and reach Delhi, all right, you will have a sense of achievement. There could be some stations that you are stopping at, which are lovely. Okay, imagine you stop at a station which is a hill station. The weather outside is chill. You can smell the flowers. You can get the fresh breeze. All right, and let's say there's some lovely food over there for you to eat. You'll enjoy it. Sometimes you could be stopping at very dry stations. Right, there's nobody at the platform. It is hot. It is dry. All right. Now, whatever it is, good or, well, not so good, it leaves an experience and it makes the journey even more pleasurable. So when you go and reach Delhi 365 days later, you turn back and you look, you will have so many, even in those places where it was absolutely horrible conditions, dry weather and all of it, you will still say, you know what happened with this guy when we got there, you know what happened when I landed at that station. You will have such fond memories. So always remember, life is a journey where we are picking up memories all along. We're collecting memories all along the way. And if you're not doing that, then it's a big question you need to ask yourself. Okay. Now, goals are something that gives us directions in life. Okay. Now, same situation. I'm traveling from Chennai and I'm supposed to go to Delhi. Okay. I don't know. I don't have a sense of direction. Okay. I don't know which is north, which is south, which is east, which is west, but I have a map. And in the map, it has all those villages and towns that are there. Now, imagine I start and suddenly I find myself in Pondicherry. Okay. Now, that will immediately tell me that I'm heading in the wrong direction because Pondicherry is to the south of Chennai, where I'm supposed to be traveling north. So immediately what I need to do is, the moment I see Pondicherry, I'm like, wait a minute. The map says Chennai is here, Delhi is there, but Pondicherry is below that, which means I need to take a U-turn and go back the same way that I just came back. All right, came in. So that's what goals will do to you. Now, on the other hand, okay, if I'm traveling from Chennai to Delhi and I suddenly am traveling and I reach a place, looks really nice, the weather is absolutely chill, and I see a signboard which says Bangalore, then it tells me, yes, I've come away from Chennai, but I'm still not in the right direction. So I'll need to take probably a right turn from there because Bangalore is to the west of Chennai. So take a right turn and then start heading up. Now I'm pretty much in the middle of India, so I know if I go straight up, I may probably reach Delhi. Okay. Now, let's say I leave from Chennai and suddenly I find myself in Hyderabad. I'm like, wow, Hyderabad. Okay. On the map, it says it's in the right direction. Okay. So it says, okay, I need to continue further. I need to continue further. I need to continue further. Sometimes, okay, I heard two people give me two goals. One person said, my long-term goal is to be a professor. Another person said, my long-term goal is to be an IAS officer. Now, to become that, like a professor or an IAS officer, okay, that's like the destination called Delhi. Now, in between, there are what we call checkpoints that you need to be achieved. Okay. So one of the things you need to achieve in order to be a professor is, one, you need to be good at a particular subject. Right? Obviously, you are a professor, but what do you want to teach? Right? The next thing is you need to get the communication skills required. right? Then you need to probably go ahead and understand a little bit about working with people. Like interpersonal skills is what we call it, right? Your communication is good. Yes, you're able to speak well, right? You are a subject matter expert because you're a genius in a subject. But imagine you cannot interact with people, all right? You just don't get along with people at all. I mean, you cannot be a professor. Okay? Your students will hate you, and trust me, if your students hate you, that's not going to get well along any subject. So if you improve your communication skills, if you improve your interpersonal skills, if you take up a subject in your study, now these are all those checkpoints like reaching Hyderabad and reaching, let's say, Bombay or reaching Pune or anywhere, right? So it tells me that as I reach this particular destination, I am on my journey towards my ultimate goal. So here is something that is what I told you, I'm going to introduce. Okay, there is a compass that we have when it comes to setting goals. Okay. I'm going to suggest this exercise to you. You can do it right after this session. Is write down, like for example, I do this in goal setting sessions when I have students, all right, who are there, or freshers when we talk with them. But of course, with people with a little more experience, it's a little different session. So I tell you that if I give you 5 crore rupees, I repeat, if I give you 5 crore rupees to spend, and you have to spend that money right now, what would you do? Okay. So all you'll have to do is take a piece of paper, write down, yeah, I have 5 crore rupees, what will I spend it on? Okay. Some of you will say, I want to buy a house. Okay, yes. So let's say 3 crores for a house. You want to buy a beautiful house, a mansion. Okay, 3 crores for that. Then you say, I want to buy a car. What car do you want to buy? I want to buy a BMW. Let's say, okay, 1 more crore for that. Then you say, I want to buy nice jewelry. Okay, I'm sure a lot of women here love jewelry. So jewelry for you. Okay, let's say 75 lakhs for jewelry. Okay, I think that's a decent amount of money. Then you'd say, I want to go to Switzerland. All right, I love like the snow. I like to run around the snow, or I like to go to Spain, or I like to visit Dubai, whatever it is. Write that down. Okay, let's say about 4 lakhs for that. Okay, so what you need to do is, as you write what you are going to use that money for, okay, right next to that, you will also write how much money do you want to spend on that. And finally, as you keep spending, you find that your 5 crores keeps reducing, till finally you're left with nothing. So now that you have a list of things that you want to spend on, I usually tell people, take that list and break it up into things where you're spending, let's say, less than 5 lakhs on it. All right. What are the things that you spend less than 5 lakhs? Put that in a separate group. Anything between 6 lakhs and 50 lakhs, put that in the second group. 50 lakhs and above, okay, I say put it in the third group. Now, why do I say this? Is because the first group, things under 5 lakhs, are what I call your short-term goals. These are things that you can achieve in the next 5 years. Okay, those are those which are there between 6 lakhs, right, up to 50 lakhs. I'd say are your midterm goals. Your midterm goals are things that can be achieved in, let's say, 10 to 15 years. Now, your long-term goals are the ones that cost you more than 50 lakh rupees. Okay, so those, go ahead. It will take you maybe about 20-30 years to achieve. Okay. Now, here is the beauty of it. Okay, you can achieve all the goals that you have set in your life. Whatever be the goal, you can achieve it in your life, provided you're willing to pay the price for it. And that's how the whole world works. Okay. So, I mean, I never knew of this fact until I read a book, and that book opened my eyes. Anything you desire in your life, be it saying, you know what, I want to pass all my exams. As a student, that was, I think, one of my biggest goals, to clear my exams. Okay. To get the first mark, all right, or to be a gold medalist in college. Okay, or to get the kind of fitness levels that you want. I mean, if you're more on the plus and generous side, maybe you want to lose down a little bit weight to become slim, to go on a tour, to join a company, to earn the salary, to buy a house, to buy a car, to take your parents out on a vacation, to have a beautiful family, anything that you have. You can achieve all these goals provided you're willing to pay the price that is expected for it. Okay. This price is something called effort. Okay. So imagine all your goals are there in a supermarket. House, car, working in a country outside of India, right? Becoming an IAS officer, IPS officer, right? Joining the army, wanting to be the prime minister of the nation, wanting to become the chief minister of your state, councillor, mayor, anything. Right? All of this is available in the supermarket. You've all been to a supermarket, right? So what do we do in a supermarket? We carry a basket, right? A shopping bag or a trolley, and we see whatever is there, anything that we like, we take it and we put it into our basket. Okay, so we have what's called that wish list, the basket in front of us. We add things to cart, like what we do on Amazon and Flipkart. And then what you do is you go to the billing counter or the checkout counter. Now at the checkout counter, everything that you have, well, put in your basket will be billed, and they'll give you a bill. Now you have to pay the cashier there, and only then will what you have put inside the basket become yours. So imagine if I have a chocolate, right, a dairy milk chocolate, a nice big bar of dairy milk chocolate, which costs about, let's say, 100 rupees. If I go and tell the shopkeeper, I love this chocolate, I want this chocolate, I need this chocolate, but I have only 50 rupees, the shopkeeper will say, go leave this and pick something worth 50 rupees and come back. Okay. But if the shopkeeper really has a sense of humor, he will take that bar of chocolate, break it in half, give me the half, take my 50 rupees and kick me out of the shop. Okay. This is how life works. Okay. No matter what the goal is, only if you pay the price, that goal is yours. Okay. This is how you need to achieve goals. So now comes the big question. Okay, are my goals quality goals or not? Are the goals that I am selecting in my life good goals or bad goals? So how do you identify? Okay, like for example, when you take up, like let's say when you pick up something, you look at that product and you say, you know what, do I need this? Do I want this? Okay, what's in it? Is it good for me? All right, will it help me? You have a lot of these questions. So imagine if you had a device in your hand that when you looked at this product, it will say, you know what, Gregory, this is the best product for you. Your need will be taken care of. Use this, and yes, all your problems will be solved. Imagine if I had something like that. So I will say, you know what, it's worth it. I'll pay the price for it. Otherwise, I say it's not worth it. Then put it back in the shelf. So that compass that tells you if your goal is a good goal or not, all right, is something called happiness. So the statement, if you want, write this down. The goal of a goal needs to be happiness. And if it is happiness, then you are choosing a right goal for yourself. Because I know a lot of students, as a matter of fact, even senior people that I've been talking to, they will say, you know what, I want to win, all right, this race. I want to get promoted. I said, why? Because I want revenge. Why do you want revenge? Because he insulted me and I want to insult this person by doing this. Okay. Now, the goal of that person achieving that goal is not happiness, but it is revenge. And I said, you know what? It's good that you have a very strong motivating factor. But the biggest challenge here is once you achieve that goal, you won't know what to do there. Okay. It's like how there are a lot of people. And when I ask them, students, especially when I talk to younger school students, okay, I ask them, okay, what is it that you want to be in life? Okay, there are people who come and say, I want to be a police officer, I want to be a army officer, I want to be a software engineer, I want to be a, I mean, they give, I mean, students are amazing when it comes to sports. Okay. And I remember this when I was talking to a bunch of 8th standard students, okay, and giving them some career guidance and counseling. All right. I mean, the younger they are, their goals are fantastic. I had this girl who walked up to me and said, I want to be an engine driver. Yeah, I was like, little taken back. I was like, are you serious? She said, yes. I asked, why? She said, you know what? My parents never let me travel to any of the cities, all right, to meet our friends, our families, our relatives, and all of that. I have never traveled anywhere outside of the city where I am. So if I become an engine driver, I will get to visit all the places in India and see all my relatives. And I love to go on that journey because I can go through hills and mountains and lakes and all of that. Okay. Now, that kid's goal, all right, of achieving that goal of being out, why she wanted to be an engine driver was happiness, right? The excitement on her face, right? Now, that is a moral compass. That's why sometimes I have a lot of people who walk up to me and say, you know what, I want to go to the US. And I say, why? They say, you know what, I want to prove a point to my family that, you know what, I too can go to the US. But these are all people I've noticed. I had a couple of colleagues. Um, they come back and say, you know what, life is not that easy. Right? It's very difficult. It's really tough and all of it. And I also have people who come down from the US and say, you know what, it's an awesome place. It's amazing. It's a great place to be in. It's a wonderful country and all of it. And then when I kind of dive a little deep and ask them, why did you want to go to the US in the initial place? Why did you go to the US to study all of it? I find that the goal of why they set that as a goal to go abroad and study or work or do whatever, the end goal was not happiness. And that's why, even though they lived in a place, right, like that, they come back not feeling too happy about it. Right? So, as students, do this. Take a book, all right, keep that as your diary, your journal, and in that, write down anything that comes into you. It's like a supermarket, all right? There are no fixed goals. For example, if I walk into a supermarket and my wife, who's been with me, all right, walks into a supermarket, or let's say for that matter, even if my twin, if I have a twin brother, the two of us walk into a supermarket, what I pick from the shelf will not be exactly the same thing that they will pick from the shelf. They will pick, I will pick a particular shampoo, my wife will pick a particular shampoo. Let's say I have a brother, even he's bald, he will never pick a shampoo at all. Okay. So this is how each one requires something different in life. All right. And life has a supermarket where all that you want is available to you. The only thing you need to do is be willing to pay the price. Okay. If you pay the price that is expected, the goal is yours to enjoy. So the only thing you need to do is ask yourself, am I choosing the right goals in your life? And to choose the right goals in your life, you need what is called a compass, which points always towards happiness. And if it is there, trust me, you got it. Now, some of you will say, hey, you know what, this sounds just like yarn. I just need something to back it up. So let me tell you this. As a student in school, mathematics was my biggest challenge. I just had a problem with mathematics. I just couldn't understand the subject at all. Don't ask me how I did engineering. I'll come to that part. So in 10th standard, okay, we have a lot of preparatory exams to prepare us for the final exam, because that's the biggest one that the student will face. I think today there are different exams that kids can face as early as 5th standard and 8th standard, but when I was in school, 10th was the big decider, the game changer. So I never passed, I'm honestly telling you, I never passed any of my max exams, the quarterly exam, the half yearly exam, the midterm tests and everything. It went to such an extent that my school's management, right, had a meeting where they were trying to decide, should they let me go and attend the exams? All right, because if I do, they knew that my results are not going to be that great. All right, I might be a black mark on the entire school if I was the only guy who didn't get the result. Okay, imagine 99 point whatever it is, and that point whatever is me. Okay, I'm all of it contributing. So they met, and somehow they decided that they're going to let me attend the exam, but they wanted a meeting with my parents. So my dad went for the meeting. He spoke to them, and my dad said, "Okay, fine. I'm going to try something out with him, and if he takes to it, all right, if he is interested in it, then you can allow him to attend the exam. But if he is not, then I will come and take his transfer from the school, and we are off on our way to another school for my son." I said, "Wonderful." So what my dad did was, my dad took me and introduced me to his mathematics professor, okay, elderly woman. Okay. So I went to her house, and she told my dad, "You know what? I'm going to talk to him, and we'll have a conversation today. I'm not going to start the subject or anything for that matter. And after that, tomorrow you come and meet me in the morning, and I will tell you if I am willing to work with your son to overcome this." So we went, sat. My dad introduced me to his math teacher. So you can imagine how elderly she is. All right. This is somebody who is clearly retired from work. All right. And there. So I went, met her, and we just had a very interesting conversation. She asked me, what are the things I like in my school? What are the things I do? Who are my best friends? What do I do with them? The kind of sports that I play, all of it. After about 45 minutes of this conversation, she said, "I'm going to make myself some coffee. Would you like some?" I said, "No, and thank you. I'm pretty good." So she left the room, the discussion room where we were in, and then she went into the kitchen. And then suddenly she came out, all right, and she threw a tennis ball at me. She just threw a ball and said, "Catch." Okay. And the best part was she threw it from my left hand side. So all I did was raise my hand and I caught the ball in midair. Okay. Now she asked me, "Hey, how did you catch the ball? Think about it. I'll come back with my cup of coffee." Right. She came back with a cup of coffee. She also bought another extra mug for me. I said, "I don't need it." She just kept that mug there. And she asked me, "How do you know where the ball would be in order for you to catch it?" I was like, my eyes saw the ball and my hand caught the ball. It's that simple. She said, "Okay, let me explain this to you." She took a piece of paper and she said, "When I threw the ball followed what's called a parabolic path. All right. And the equation for the journey of the ball is this." And she wrote a particular formula. And then she said, "The speed at which my hand moved, all right, gave the ball something called velocity. All right. So this ball was flying through air and coming to you. The speed at which I threw it is not the speed at which the ball reached you, which means there's something that happened to the ball. The ball was facing wind resistance." And she was telling me things like this and writing down equations and equations and equations and equations. And then finally she told me, all these calculations, all right, things like calculus, trigonometry, and all of it was performed by your brain, all right, because of the input that it got from the eye, and it instructed your hand to go there, and at the exact moment when the ball will be in your grasp, to close your hands to catch it. She said, "You are doing math and you are doing it beautifully, because if you have not done it correctly, that's when you would have missed the catch. And because you caught the ball, my friend," that's what she told me. I remember, "because you caught the ball, my friend, you are a genius in mathematics." And I was like, "Are you serious?" So then I asked her, "Is this true in everything?" Because I asked her, "Are you sure that this is what my brain did?" She said, "Absolutely." She told me, "Okay, tell me a game that you enjoy playing a lot, because you said you play basketball, you also play a little bit of the other sports." I said, "I love basketball." She said, "Explained in basketball, this is what the entire calculation is whenever you shoot, right? A 2-pointer or a 3-pointer." And trust me, after that, literally, it was an eye-opening moment, because I was thinking of equations. Even after that, I had to go back home. While standing to cross the road, I was looking, okay, that car seems to be coming at me. And I was like, okay, the speed could be this. I am here. I need to cross this. This is the distance across. So whether I decide to run across the road, walk across the road, jump across the road, whatever, is a result of a calculation that my mind is performed. I never stopped thinking about calculations. All right. Now I knew, yes, I would have to do it. But then came the big challenge. All right. My dad had taken me to meet her, right, in the month of December. My exams were starting in the month of March. Okay. Now I had just 3 months in my hand. So all I did was I went back to her and I said, you know what? I think I can do this, but I don't have a clue how to do it. She said, good. Now that you're convinced, all right, that yes, you can do mathematics, we'll figure out a way for you to achieve it. She gave me a calculation. She said, very simple. How much marks do you want to score in your exam? I said, what an honest question. I said, I want to pass my exam. She said, well, passing is in a mode of survival. You've gone beyond that. You need to get into a mode of existence. Okay. So you need to say, I mean, it's not about passing the exam. Passing is something that anybody can do. Write yourself a goal. Because now that you know you can do math, right? Write a goal. So I said I want to get about 75%, okay, a distinction student in mathematics. Very simple. So what she did is she very clearly worked out a calculation. She told me, you have so many subjects, right? To score this amount of marks in a particular subject, you need to invest this amount of time, and that's the effort you have to put in. If you put this effort in every subject that you have, you will automatically get the marks that you are aiming for. That's the price you have to pay. So she said, you have only 3 months in hand. Sit, take a look at all your previous mark sheets and see what are the subjects you are scoring really well in, because these are the subjects where you seem to somehow have put a lot of effort with your knowledge or without your knowledge. So which means these are subjects which are not going to be asking too much of your effort and time. But math seems to be a big challenge. So try to give it all the effort that you can put in. Okay. So what happened was, right after that, okay, I kind of changed. I worked on a strategy for getting through my 10th exams. All right. So I set targets for each subject and I got it. I finished the exam. Okay. And the big day awaits where I was waiting for my results. So when my results came, okay, the first place I looked for in the list of people who did not clear, okay, the name wasn't there. So I was like, are you serious? Okay, next I said, let's look at those people who got like, didn't get the first, I mean, they called it third class, all right? So I saw in that list, these are people who barely scraped through. My name wasn't there. Then I said, okay, let's look in the second class, all right? Not there. First class, okay, trust me, to my biggest surprise, okay, even more than me who was sitting there in disbelief, my school's headmaster was shocked seeing my number there in that list of people who had scored distinction and above. Okay. He called me aside, he took me to the principal's office and he said, your admission into 11th standard is guaranteed. Okay, is guaranteed. But I have a doubt which I want to clear. Okay. It can affect what's happened right now, but don't worry, it's not going to affect your future in school. You get to choose whichever group you want. Okay, you can go out with school, no problem. But I want to do this. I want to get your papers re-evaluated for my own satisfaction. Even if you get whatever class it is, don't worry, you will still get this. So I said, please go ahead. I mean, what am I supposed to go and tell a headmaster when you're in the 10th standard? So I told him, please go ahead. He applied and it came back the exact same. I scored 77% overall, all right, in my 12th standard. I'm sorry, in my 10th standard. And the marks, the individual marks came. I scored 75 in one of the math papers, and in another math paper, I'd actually scored 84, all right, out of 100, 84 marks out of 100. And it was my absolute disbelief, all right. I was like in shock. And that's when I went back and actually took a look at my preparation timetable that I put to study for this, I knew that for one subject, the one where I scored 84, I had actually dedicated a little more time, okay, than this one. And that's when it hit me like a slap on the face. Okay, they call it a slap of reality. Sometimes we will all get it. That if you are willing to pay the price, okay, you can achieve anything that you have set as a goal in your life. Okay? And the calculation she worked out so beautifully for me was, she said, if you can generate 300 hours of study, you will get 60 marks, which is first class. If you can generate 400 hours of study a year for a particular subject, you could get 70 marks. If you can generate 500 hours of study, you could get distinction. If you could generate 600 hours of study, all right, you could get above 80 and under 90%, right? If you can generate close to 800 hours of study for a particular subject, okay? If you're brilliant, you don't have to generate that many, but if you're not able to score, but you generate so many hours of study, you can score a center. Okay, and I was just in shock where I literally had the secret formula for success right there in front of me. Okay, I was like, you know what, this is awesome. That's why in 12th standard, I kind of took the game up and scored almost 86%. Okay, something that, as a guy who found it a big challenge to even pass in a math exam, to get 86% overall was awesome. Okay, so this is something that taught me a very valuable lesson in life. Okay, that if you are willing to pay the price, everything that you've written down as a goal, take a book, write down all the goals. Now, your goals need not necessarily be big. You don't have to buy a bungalow, a house, a building, a skyscraper, a jet airplane, and all of that. There could be even simple things that you have. I want to go to a nice restaurant and have dinner. I want to go on, let's say, I just want to go on a Monday to this particular place, all right, and just spend my day walking barefoot in a park in the lawns, anything of that sort, all right. If your goal gives you happiness, okay, and at times, remember, we all have our ups and we have our lows in life. Okay, the ups, the highs, all right, are a time when things are going wonderfully well with you. You will actually feel like on top of the world. But sometimes, okay, what goes up has to come down. They say life is like a wave, goes up and down. So at the down, the crest, right, the trough, I'm sorry, the trough of the wave, if you are there, that's when some people think that everything is lost in life, all hope is gone. And sometimes they end up taking the most drastic step in their life. Now, if you ever feel low, let's say you didn't pass an exam, you didn't get the job that you wanted to, you got, like, let's say you didn't get selected in an interview or anything, go back and take that book that you have and look at all those things that you achieved in your life. Okay, because you have a book of goals. Okay, so you say, you know what, I want to go and eat ice cream at this particular specialty shop. That's a goal. That's a very small goal that you have. And if you actually go and eat ice cream, right next to that, right on this date, all right, I achieved my goal. Thank you. Just write a note like that. The more number of things you're thankful for in your life, trust me, it'll tell you your life is so full of meaning. It'll get you to bounce back faster, bounce back quicker, and come back as a bigger force to reckon with than how you went down. Okay, falling is common. Everybody falls, right? But the beauty is getting up and going back to do whatever it is. So the thing that makes us get up, get back fast, all right, is knowing that we have things that we have done in our life that makes us happy. Okay, so what you will need to do is, firstly, all right, get a book, all right, you call it your book of goals and dreams. In that, write down your goals. Now, your goals here have to be in high definition. Okay, I know I have a blurred background where you cannot see what's there behind me, but your goals cannot be as vague as that. It has to be in 4K, quality, right? The highest resolution that you can get, or 5K or 6K or 10K, whatever it is. Okay? For example, if you say, I want to buy a house, that's a big goal, like my background. You have to be specific. Say, I want to buy an individual bungalow, right, which has 5 bedrooms, right, a living room, a monster of a dining room, a lawn, a backyard, right, a place to park 3 cars. You have to be specific. If you say you want to buy a car, don't say my goal is to buy a car. What car do you want to buy? What color of the car do you want to have? What do you want on the interiors of the car? All right, what kind of an audio system you want inside the car? You have to be specific. Now, only if you have a very clear and sharp goal that you are looking at, that's when you close your eyes, you can literally visualize your goal, and that will make you happy. And the more happier you are about being with your goal, remember, your goal is going to call you to come and pick it off the shelf. Okay, the more willing you would be able to pay the price that is there for it. Okay, so keep that in mind, because that is one of the things that we all need to have. Now, there are some challenges that we face. For example, you might be thinking, you know what, I seem to be doing a lot. I'm putting in a lot of effort. Nothing seems to be happening. I seem to be putting everything. Nothing seems to happen in all of it. This is where I call upon a very important quality called patience. Okay. The reason is today's generation, all right, is what they call a microwave generation, right, or the instant generation, or the generation of the click. For us, everything is a click away. Okay, you want something, click it on Amazon, and presto, it's there at your place. Right? You want express delivery, same day delivery, everything is just a click away. So one thing that we end up losing by doing this is what we call patience. Okay, so here is where I'm going to tell you something, 2 concepts that I'm going to introduce to you. One is called the compound effect. Okay, so I don't know if you want to try this home, but just make sure you inform mom well in advance before trying this experiment. Take a bucket of water, okay, and let the bucket of water fill up under a tap till it's almost full. Maybe let's say you leave about 1 centimeter before it is there at the brim. Okay, stop the tap. Now take a mug of water and pour it into that bucket. You will find that the water starts filling up. Then take another bucket and pour it, another mug and pour it, another mug and pour it. Now you will notice that the water is almost there on the top level. All right, it's almost there at the brim. Now, very carefully start pouring water inside the bucket. Okay, when you think the bucket is almost full and you're still pouring water, you find that the bucket is holding that water, and you're wondering, wait a minute, shouldn't it be coming out? Shouldn't it be overflowing? All right, start putting in water, and you'll find that the bucket is holding water, and you're wondering, where is all this water going? It should overflow. And then at one point, you will notice that a single drop of water that goes into that bucket will cause the bucket to overflow. And what overflows is not that last drop that went in, but a significant amount that comes out. Okay, so the concept I want to introduce here is called the compound effect. Okay, little things done consistently over a period of time can show a phenomenal improvement. I'm sure all of you are people who know calculations, or at least basic math. Okay, I'm not too sure if you'll be able to do this calculation on your mobile phone, but you can try. Okay, try this. 1, all right, to the power of 1 is 1. 1 to the power of 2 is 2. 1 to the power of, I'm sorry, 1 to the power of 2 is 1. 1 to the power of 3 is also 1. So 1 to the power of 365 equals 1. Now, why do I have 365? Just take it as a year. If you do what you have been doing, okay, if you do what you have been doing for an entire year, then you will get what you have been getting till now. Okay, so this is part 1. There is a part 2. If you dropped by just 1%, which means 0.99 raised to the power of 365. This is where you'll need your calculators to do it. All right, find out the answer. Now, then there's another part to it. If you have a 1% improvement, which is 1.01 raised to the power of 365, okay, the answer will tell you the magic. Okay, sometimes we wonder, this guy is an overnight success. This person, luck, suddenly became popular, suddenly became this, suddenly became that. No. What they have been doing is there's something called a work tank, like that bucket that you have. And all along, they've been putting effort into the tank. Effort, 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 effort. And the tank fills. And they find that, you know what, on the outside, hey, I'm putting a lot of effort, but nothing seems to be coming out of it. I don't seem to be seeing the rewards. I don't seem to be seeing the benefits. I don't seem to be seeing the result of it. All right. And this is how it keeps on going until it gets to that one point where that one little bit of effort they put in, suddenly the success seems to overflow and it is just flowing and flowing and flowing. All right. And what most people do is right after putting 1 or 2 extra mugs of effort, they say nothing works, they'll quit it. Whereas that one person who keeps trying just that little thing every day consistently, and finally that one little thing they do, you will find that success seems to be magical. We call them one-hit wonders and all of them. Okay. You have some classical examples. I'm sure you have some very popular examples also running around. I think one of the biggest sensations running around in India right now is the movie KGF. All right. So in KGF, if you notice, the hero of the movie, yes, I mean, he was there, right? But all it took was that one movie that he signed up for. And today you see, well, you could say he's like quite a talked about celebrity all over India. So this is how, now some people who don't know much would say, man, look at this guy, one movie, luck, became a superhero. All right. But imagine all the effort he's been putting for so many years. All right. And then he put that effort when a very small director, right, with a very new group of technicians came, and you know what, they had a project that was done. And again, not one of those typical stereotype projects, right, where you have this and all of it. This person said, okay, let me just sign up one more movie. And then today you see where it is. Okay, so this is how it works. All right, you have the compound effect. All you have to do is just keep putting effort. All right, so whatever you have as your different goals, every day, if you work towards that goal, try putting a little bit of effort towards that goal, little bit of effort towards that goal. And as you keep putting in those little drops of effort, there will come a time when each and every one of your work tanks starts to overflow. And when it overflows, trust me, you will be swimming in the success that comes right after that. Okay. Now, that is the workflow, all right, or I would say the work tank and how it can overflow onto you. Another thing about patience is something called the Chinese bamboo. All right. In China, there is this particular variety of bamboo. All right. And how this works is the farmer has to plant seeds in the field. So what the farmer will do is he will plant the seeds, all right, and after planting the seeds, the farmer has to water the field every day. Every day he has to come and water the field. Now, I'm sure all of us would have done this experiment when we were there in school. They'll say, grow a plant. So we come home, we have a small pot, we'll take some few seeds from mom from the kitchen, maybe mustard or any of the pulses she has, put it inside, pour water. 2 or 3 days later, we'll see a small shoot coming out. We get all excited. Again, some more water. After a few days, 2 leaves pop out, and then things keep coming out. All right, we're all excited. Now, this farmer is watering for 1 full month every day. Imagine, okay, if anyone is from the agricultural background or you know how agriculture works, everybody around you is planted their fields. Right? Everybody has got activity, which means their little plants are growing. Okay, they plant it, within a few days, they find things coming out of the ground. But there is this one farmer who's planted and he's watering every day. Everybody is seeing him put the effort. 1 month, no activity. 2 months, no activity. The ground looks like how it was when he planted it, and he's still watering it every day. 3 months, no sign of any activity. What do you think will happen with the farmer? Can get frustrated, right? But the farmer continues. Okay, this is true. He goes on like this for 12 whole months, which means 1 year is gone. The people around him would have taken a couple of harvests. Right? If you planted any other crop, you would have done 1 or 2 harvests happily, resting at their houses. Okay, but this farmer has to come every day for 1 year and water. Nothing. So by then, all his neighbors will say, what a joker. The farmer still continues into the second year. And at the end of the second year, still the ground looks barren, nothing on the ground. Okay, the farmer still keeps watering. 2 years have gone. Now he's into the third year. Third year also he continues watering. Now family, friends, relatives, all of them are looking and saying, what's wrong with this fellow? He's not coming for any of our functions. He's not coming for weddings. He's not coming here, coming there. He still comes every day, waters the field, and then goes back. 3 years have gone. Imagine 3 years of working, watering, no activity. Fourth year. Starts month 1, month 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nothing. Can you imagine the frustration somebody will have? Can you imagine the frustration you will have if you were in such a situation? For 4 years, you've been trying to do something. And you've been doing something. No result. This is the Chinese bamboo. Now, the end of the 4th year, right? Even that last month, let's say the month of December, the farmer pours water every day, nothing happens. At the end of the 4th year, at the start of the 5th year, is when he sees a small bamboo shoot come out from the ground. Trust me, most of us would go and stamp that bamboo shoot and say, stupid, it took you 4 years to come out. But you know what the farmer will do? He will dance for joy. Why? Because in the next 45 days, okay, I repeat, the next 45 days, which means 1.5 months, the bamboo shoot that came out of the ground will grow 90 feet tall. Okay, I'm not talking about 9 feet. I'm not talking about 10 feet. I'm not talking about 20 feet. I'm not talking about 30 feet. I'm talking about 90 feet tall. Okay, 30 meters in 45 days. They say that if the farmer stands and looks, he can see the Chinese bamboo grow. That's the fastest growing plant. That's the rate at which it grows. Okay. And after that, all the farmer has to do is cut, harvest, and it keeps on growing. Cut, harvest, and it keeps on growing. Now, if for anywhere in those 4 years that he was watering every day, if the farmer digs up the ground to find out what's going on, the plant will die. Now, what has the plant been doing for the entire 4 years is growing under the ground, something that you cannot see. The Chinese bamboo for 4 years grows and develops such a strong system of roots to support the growth that happens in the 5th year. Because that amount of weight the roots have to support, and to support that weight, it's what takes the roots 4 years to grow. 4 years of the farmer's effort. And then from the 5th year, they call it the magic of the Chinese bamboo tree. Right. That bamboo is highly preferred when it comes to the construction industry. Why? Because it's long, extremely flexible, all right? And the farmer is dancing for joy when all his neighbors are saying, lucky fellow, look at this guy. Every year, I mean, every 45 days, he's harvesting bamboo and sending it off. And it seems to be growing this way. Okay. So never ever get disheartened by results which are getting delayed. Okay. If there is anything which is getting delayed, like for example, you may say, you know what, I want to be an IAS officer now. Maybe you find that, you know what, it's getting a little delayed. Something happens. Don't get disheartened. It means that you are getting ready, all right, like your roots are getting stronger to take the growth that's coming on later. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. All right. So I think we're almost near the close of my session. I have about 9 more minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my mobile number. If you have any questions you want to ask me, you can WhatsApp it to me. I'll be so happy to answer them. I also have a couple of books that I would love to recommend to you. But if you tell me what is it that you're looking for, then I can go ahead and suggest some wonderful topics. Because some of the things that people say is, you know what, I want to know how to talk to people. I want to know how to communicate with people. Okay, so here is where I say, always look. I mean, the book that I think I will suggest is How to Win Friends and Influence People. A beautiful book by an author called Dale Carnegie. He's put in 27 years of research into that book. And it's a book that will really change the way you can talk to people around you, all right, and be a very strong personality when it comes to interacting with them. On a final note, okay, as a student, I want to give you this. We as human beings, right, are born to do one thing in life, and that one thing in life is copy. You would say, what do you mean by that? Okay, I've heard my teacher say, don't copy. I've heard my professor say, don't copy. Copying is bad. Now ask yourself this question: is there anything that you and I do that others are not doing? Right? For example, I speak Tamil because my family speaks to me in Tamil. You would speak Telugu or Hindi or whatever language that you speak because that's the language that you speak. The food you eat, the clothes you wear, everything is done because you know what? People around us do it. You can't say the whole world eats food like this. I am going to eat food this way. Try it. Right? You can say, you know what? Everybody uses their hands. I'm not going to use my hands. There are so many people who can show you how to eat food with their legs. Now you could say, I don't want to use my hands and legs. There are people with no hands and legs who can demonstrate how to lead a normal life and do normal things. The God you pray to, the language you speak, everything is done because of, well, you copy it from people around you. Now imagine if you and I, as babies, if we were taken to, let's say, China and brought up in China, the language you speak would be different. The food you eat would be different. Your mannerisms would be different. Your behavior, our behavior would be different. So you are a product of your environment. Okay, and Swami Vivekananda says this beautifully. He says a drop of water falling from the sky is pure. If it falls into an ocean, it becomes salt water. It falls into a river, a lake, or a stream, it becomes fresh water. If it falls into a gutter, it becomes dirty water. If it falls on a lotus, it shines like a pearl or a diamond. Okay. So if that water falling from the sky, it's pure water, right? It cannot change its direction saying, I don't want to go here, I want to go here. It can't. It just falls straight to where it is supposed to be falling. Okay. But you and I have the choice. So who your mind associates with is what you become in life. Okay. So if you have goals that you have set for yourself, look around you to see who has achieved these goals in their life. Okay. It could be a relative, could be a friend, could be someone who you know from your school, your college, or any connection that you have. Start associating with that people. The more you associate with them, all right, the more you get ideas from them, you will start finding, well, you have better chances of achieving that. Simple. Ask Virat Kohli, who is his favorite cricket player? Virat Kohli will say Sachin Tendulkar. Ask Sachin Tendulkar, who's your favorite cricket player? He'll say Sir Don Bradman. What's common with all of them? All of them play cricket, and in cricket, all of them are great batsmen. Ask an action hero, who is your favorite actor? He will say another action hero. Ask a comedian, who's your favorite actor? He will say another comedian. Ask a politician, who is your role model? Another politician. Ask a social reformer, who is your role model? Another social reformer. This is how all these people have people who are successful in their field as their role models, and they copycat their behavior. So similarly, if you want to be an IAS officer, you need to start connecting with people from your circles who become IAS officers. And all you have to do is let them connect them, right? Connect with them and let them know that you know what, they're your biggest motivation, and well, things will go your way wonderfully. Okay, I'll end with this. This is, I guess, my last drop of common sense into your think tank.
Manoj sir, if I'm not stopping you, can we just have a question for the students? If anybody would like to ask you something or share their thoughts or questions?
Yes, ma'am. They can. So
Yeah.
I'll just close
Students,
with the,
yeah, please.
yeah. So you have a hill in front of you, a mountain in front of you. You want to climb that mountain. You're standing down. There is a person sitting there at the bottom. And the person asks you, what are you doing? You say, you know what, I want to go on top of the mountain. The person says, nobody has gone on top of this mountain. You cannot go on top of this mountain. I don't think you can. Now, if you listen to that person, you can turn back and walk, and climbing up that mountain will still be something that you have never achieved in your life. On the other hand, just stay there and wait. You will find somebody coming down. Ask that person, where are you coming from? He'll say, I am coming from top of the mountain. And if you tell that person, I want to go on top of that mountain, this person say, follow this path, and you will go there. All you have to do is follow the path. Right? So there are a lot of people. The character sitting down the mountain could be sometimes our parents, relatives, friends, family, who are telling you, you know what, don't do this, don't do that. It's not good. You can't do it. You're not cut out for it. But if you follow the path shown by somebody who's achieved that level of success, you can achieve whatever goals you have set in your life. Right? That's the last dose of common sense. Like what your principal said, if you have any questions you want to ask me, we have an open house now.
Thank you so much, sir.
Any questions or anything coming in the chat window, you can go ahead and ask. If you want to connect with me, I'm very easy to locate on LinkedIn. I'm the only Gregory Manoj, thanks to my parents. That's the only person in the world, I think, with that name combination. The same goes with Facebook also. Okay. My contact number is 98840-55574. Reach out to me on WhatsApp if you want any of the book titles that I'm talking about. The number again is 98840-55574. So I'm just hoping to see if there are any questions which are coming through.
Sir, actually, I have a question for you. So
Please go ahead.
Listening to your session, so this one thing has pondered in my mind. So the main problem with our generation students is that we procrastinate a lot. Thanks to the pandemic, the levels of procrastination has certainly increased. So how do you think that we can overcome procrastination while goal setting?
I have a book here. I don't know if you can see the book. All right. It's a beautiful book that's called Eat That Frog. Okay. The reason was I had a problem of procrastinating myself. Okay. Before I even went and started advising, I said, what am I supposed to do if I am putting off things for later? And this book beautifully taught me a technique. I know if I talk about it, it's going to go for a long time. But this book deals with it by saying how you can make your life easy, simple, if procrastination is one of your biggest challenges. Like I said, the beauty about books is somebody who has faced the challenge or problem in your life has written their life lessons in a book. And all you have to do is just read that book. So it's like this. Imagine you have, if you don't study subjects well, you have tuition classes that you go to. Imagine for problems in life, we have tuition classes. Those are these motivational books that you can come across. All right. So there are some amazing books. I've recently developed that as a hobby to read books and share my knowledge. So if you have any challenges, procrastination, there are two rules that I would suggest. One is called the 5-second rule, and the other one is called the Eat That Frog book. Read these two. All right. And trust me, it will solve a lot of your challenges. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Lai.
So if anyone is having any questions, they can kindly unmute themselves and ask and interact with sir. Okay, so we have got few questions from YouTube chat box, sir. So I would
Wonderful.
like to ask them for you.
Yep.
So the first query is asked by Miss Shilpa. She has asked, what is the need of applying SWOT strategy in goal setting? SWOT, SWOT strategy.
Okay. So you're talking about strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. All right. So this is more SWOT analysis is done specifically for doing something. Usually done SWOT is done for teams, right? At an individual level, you don't have to go too much into SWOT. Okay. So for example, if you say, okay, I want to achieve this, what are my strengths? Like, okay, let's say for example, okay, the question was asked by somebody, but I'm going to use this as an example. I want to be a professor. Okay. So I would say, okay, my goal is to achieve being a lecturer or a professor in a college or a university. So what are my strengths to do that? My communication skill is good. I'm very confident. What are my weakness? Okay. My weakness is I'm crippled. I cannot stand and talk. Okay. Now, what are the threats that I have? The threats that I have is, well, I cannot go to a college which is not disabled friendly. All right. If a college has a lot of steps with no elevators or no ramps, trust me, I'm stuck. That's a threat for me. Okay. Opportunities are, I know India as a country is not very disabled friendly. Trust me, the way the roads are dug up, the sidewalks are dug up, I might go and crash, all right, have an accident. So if I were to look at an opportunity in a different country, all right, a country like Singapore, even though it's small, it's highly disabled friendly, all right. So that means that this is out. So this will tell me, boss, pack your bags, get to Singapore, you'll have a better chance of becoming a professor or a lecturer there. So SWOT analysis is used this way, but generally it works better for teams which want to achieve a certain target or a goal.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the
Wonderful.
next question is asked by Rajesh. So Mr. Rajesh has asked, can the passion in particular field affect the work life?
Definitely, passion will affect your work life. Okay. Uh, if you are passionate about what you do, then you will be naturally successful in doing it. Okay. If you look at Sachin Tendulkar, I'll give you this because he's quite popular with the youngsters today. Sachin scores a century, even a double century in a match. After that match, okay, Sachin is walking out of the field. Press reporter sticks a mic on his face and says, how was the game, Sachin? Sachin's not going to say, oh my God, so tiring. I'm drained out. I have no juice in me. I want to go drink water. I want to relax. I need a massage. No, Sachin will always say, I enjoyed the game. All right. The wicket was awesome. I was feeling great. All right. That's the difference between passion. Okay. If Sachin was not passionate about playing cricket, Sachin will always come and complain, even though what the result says, man, it was quite tiring. My captain was putting a lot of pressure on me. I had to go deliver. I have no other choice but to deliver for the country. Billions of dreams are following me. If I don't score, they'll throw stones in my house. If he is going that way, he's pushed rather than pulled. Right? You will always find that it affects a lot of what you do. So the biggest question you need to ask yourself, I mean, look at me. Okay. I studied biology in school. I took up mechanical engineering. All right. I've done my master's in business administration, specializing in human resource management. But I'm a trainer. Okay? There is no connection between what I've studied to what I am doing. Now, my passion is to meet people and talk to people. And the job that I do gets me to do it, which is why if let's say I am not passionate about what I'm doing, trust me, I wouldn't have even accepted this session. Why would I want to take off time on a Saturday evening away from my family to come and talk to a bunch of students who probably are not even asking me all the questions I'm supposed to be getting? Okay. But I love to do this, which is why I'm here. I've been in sessions, 250 students, nobody asked me a question, but at the end of it, everybody responded. All right. So this is the biggest differentiator between passionate about a job. So there are certain organizations which use this to hire people. They call it the Strengths Finder assessment. All right. It's an assessment. It's an online assessment where they ask you close to about, I think, 58 questions. Now, these 58 questions, after which they will tell you, these are your strengths. And if you take up these jobs, your strengths will match the job, which means you'll be naturally successful in it rather than you being under pressure and under force. All right. So some companies actually look at it. So if you are, like, say, if you want to be a professor, okay, and let's say one of your strengths, all right, is okay, let's look at this. If you want to be a professor and you have an area, an issue, a problem, and that problem is you have stage fear. Now, trust me, anytime somebody comes and says, ma'am, can you go handle the class? Professor, can you go take that class? You say, oh, why do I have to go? Why are they torturing me? So that will be the first thing that will hit you if your passion is not aligned with your profession. But let's say you're passionate about talking to people. Somebody calls you even on a Sunday and says, you know what, can you please handle this task? You'll be like, wow, give me the opportunity, you'll run. Okay. That is where people are successful. Look at every successful person in their field. These are all people who are passionate. They might not be the highly qualified, all right? But just because these people are passionate about what they do, they will excel in everything they do. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, sir. The next question is asked by Ms. Shravani. She has asked, how far is having more educational qualifications accelerates the process of settlement?
It just, see, for example, there is no tangible measurement to saying that, yeah, you study so much, you will be this. Okay, it's not like if I go finish my doctorate, I'm going to become the Prime Minister of India. All right. Well, I can finish a lot of it and finally become the Prime Minister of India. It gives me a better understanding of it all. But there is no measurement of that sort. Most of the jobs look at educational qualification as a hiring criteria and eligibility. All right. Nothing saying that, you know what, I studied this, which means they're going to hand you the job. They always will check if you have this skill. So I'll put this into a formula. Every job looks at two things before hiring you. One is called skill and the other one is called will, which is your attitude. Now, skills are things that you can learn. People acquire skills. Humans acquire skills. But the attitude is something that you need to have. You could be highly skilled, but if you don't have the attitude, you'll not get the job. Now, skill again breaks down into two. One is called knowledge and application. Everything that you study in college, school, all right, is acquiring knowledge. Your mark sheet says you have the knowledge, but do you have the ability to apply that knowledge is the big question. So in an interview, especially if you're going in for a software job, if they give you a code and they say debug it, or if they give you a statement and they say write a code for it, they are checking application of knowledge. Now, you don't even need qualification to do that, but if you can solve that problem and if you can demonstrate application of knowledge, you get the job.
Thank you, sir. So
You're
the
welcome.
next question is asked by Mr. Subhash. He has asked how to deal with failures while achieving our goals. Sometimes during goal setting process, we'll be facing some failures which demotivate. So how to deal with them?
Patience. That's the only thing I would say. The biggest example for this is the discovery, all right, of, or I would say you can call it the invention of the filament of the light bulb. I'm sure all of us have used the light bulb somewhere in our life. We turn on, the light bulb turns on, right? Now that was invented by Thomas Alva Edison. Okay, do you know how many times he actually failed or, well, didn't get a result before he actually got a result? The number is
97 or 98.
It was close to 1,000.
Okay.
So can you imagine 1,000 failed attempts to find the correct formula that works? So imagine, had he said, I tried 10 times and this is not giving me results through it, you and I would be sitting in the dark. So when they finally asked him, you know what, you tried so many times and you failed, how did you handle it? He said, well, I just figured out so many ways in which not to make it. So if you look at every attempt where you're not achieving a result as an opportunity to learn, then you have developed a process to handle failure. Okay? Everybody fails. Trust me, everybody fails. But that's a way in which it's conditioning you to handle the result. I hope that answers the question of Subhash.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
So the next question is asked by Vamsi. He has asked how to deal with the pressures we face during goal setting process. Like sometimes many people will be telling us many things and things would get confusing. So how to deal with such pressures?
Remember the compass I told you? The goal of all goals is happiness. Okay? It's not somebody else's happiness, it's your happiness. Okay. Now you can have someone who comes and says, my goal is to have you go to America and work. But if that's not what makes you happy, trust me, well, you're carrying somebody else's sack. You should tell that person, if your goal is to make me to go to America, then you should have gone to America and called me there. Okay. Why are you, I mean, a lot of people do this. If I'm not able to achieve my goal, I take that bag and I pass it on to the next person. Okay. So the best thing is ask yourself, do I want to carry my bag or do I want to carry everybody's bag? Sometimes you just have to listen to it, hear them out, and say thank you, and then go about doing whatever it is that you want to do.
Thank you, sir. The next question is asked by Miss Harshita. She has asked how to know if your goal is toxic in your life, and if it turns out to be toxic, how to deal with such type of goals, like how to remove them from your life. Maybe you could be obsessed with such goals, right? Sometimes.
Like I said, use your compass. The goal of all goals have to be happiness. If it's not, ditch it. All right. Very simple. You just have to be a little ruthless when it comes to it. All right. So, like for example, okay, I'll give you this. It's of no meaning. I'm just using this example just to get the point across. They have this way of catching monkeys. All right. Monkeys are very difficult to capture. All right. But there's a very simple technique to capture monkeys. So what they do is they take these little pots, all right, and inside the pots they put groundnuts, all right, and leave the pots there. The pot is actually tied to a rope and left there. Now what the monkey does is it comes, it looks around, it notices that there are peanuts inside the pot, and what it does is it puts its hand inside and grabs the peanuts. And because it is holding on to the peanuts, it can't pull its fist out of the pot and it is stuck. Now the monkey doesn't want to let go of this. It says, I want the peanuts, but as long as its hands are holding this way, it's not going to come out of the mouth of the little pot. And that's how they capture monkeys. A very simple technique. Now all that monkey had to do was let go. All right. And if it let goes, the hand slips out, you're free. So sometimes you need to ask yourself, am I holding on to something so tight? Because if you're holding on to, you're stuck in a trap. Somebody is going to come and capture you. So learn to let go. And who can let go? Only the monkey which has got the hand in the pot, not the monkey which is there outside. All right. So the only person who has to open their clasp and release the grasp is that monkey which has got the hand. So I don't know who is the one who's got the hand in the pot, but whoever it is, remember, just like that little monkey, all you have to do is unclasp your hands.
Well, that was an interesting answer, sir. So we have the last question asked by Ms. Ankita. She has asked what are some of the personal and academic goals and how to differentiate between them.
Okay, academic goals, I mean, if you want to score marks, or in my case, if you want to pass an exam, that's an academic goal, right? Personal goals are, okay, I had this as a goal when I was in college. Okay, in college, I was, you could call an outstanding student because I was always get kicked out of my class, okay, for some reason or the other. So one day, I mean, I used to tell myself this, that I'm going to be back in my college. And most often I would be waiting in front of my principal's office, either to go and get my suspension notice, all right, because I'd be suspended for a week for all the reasons. Okay. So I told myself, one day I'm going to come back inside the principal's office and I am not going to be like treated the way I'm treated. Because every time I go, I'll have to stand there in front of the principal's office. My neck will hang as I've committed a big crime. Everybody walking around me will look at me, laugh at me, smile at me. My friends would be cracking jokes at me. My professors would, oh, this guy again. It's like becoming, I mean, they say, why don't you take up a job at the principal's office? Because you seem to be quite regular here. All this would go. But all this changed. It's just something that I wrote. All right. Remember, I told you, I said, you know what? I wanted to be treated differently at my principal's office. Now, remember, this is a goal that I put out. Okay. I had it in my head, but I put it out. I wrote it on a piece of paper. It took me almost 15 years to achieve it, and I did not do any effort towards it. All right. I was focusing on my career and all of it. And there was a time when my college had invited me as the chief guest for a function in my college. So it was in that very same principal's office where I used to wait outside. I was sitting inside the room, the principal sitting opposite me. All right. We were having tea and discussing about things. And one of my batchmates, all right, who happened to come into the college because his company was, I mean, he had a company and he was hiring candidates, walked in, he looked at me and said, do you imagine 15 years ago, all right, where were you in this principal's office? Okay, we just had an amazing laugh. My HOD, who was still the same person, I went and met him, all right, he too had a good laugh. We laughed it out loud like kids, all right. And that's what I told him, you know what, that's the power of written goals. You write your goal down and you never really know, all right. When you write it out, you're sending it out into the universe, right? And that's what even God himself says, ask what you want and you will get it, all right? There's no point. I mean, God knows everything, but still he says ask. So if you ask, you write it down, you say, I want to do this, I want to become this. That's like a prayer that I made. Okay, I don't know how sincere I was it and all of it, but because I put it out, it came back inside. So any goal that you are writing into, I mean, it's very easy to classify. Just look at it. At the end of it, what is it? Is it going to help me get some marks? Is it help me going to get some certificates or get a degree or anything? Then, well, it's academic, right? Anything else that you have that, well, influences people around you, then you know these are family goals, professional goals, official goals. That's an easier way to classify it. I hope that answers the last question. Is there any other question that's come by?
I wanted to ask one last question.
Please go
So
ahead.
after listening to everything, how do you define success, sir? Like, what is success to you?
Okay. Success, according to me, is the desired change that I see in my life. Okay. If I see a change that is desired, okay, then I know that I am successful in my life. That's all. Okay. So for example, if I want to lose weight, okay, and I see that the weight when I stand on a weighing machine is something that I desire. Okay. Now, if you notice, let's say I weigh about 70 kilos. I stand on my weighing machine and I see that it's become 75. I cannot jump and say, yes, the weight has increased. All right. So here the change has happened, but the change is a negative change. So when I stand on it and I see 68, yes, it's changed. But that's not the same thing I want to see on my bank account when I get my salary. Now imagine last month if I get 2 lakhs as my salary and this month I get 1.5. Yay! I cannot jump like what it is. I need to see a higher amount, all right, after an increment, right? So success is measured by change, but that change has to be desired. All right, that is what is success.
Thank you so much, sir. That was indeed a very interactive and wonderful session. Thank you for being there with us for today. So,
Thank you,
what
Mr.
is-
Manoj. I was listening all through. So much of content that the students can go through, and then once again play it on and see like how many examples you have given them to actually ponder over and see like they can connect them to their present situation as a student and grow well in life. So we thank you very heartily and wish you all the best and good luck in the year ahead. God bless you.
All right. Thank you all. Again, once again, I thank God for giving me, well, life to talk to you. and thank ICT Academy for connecting us with the college team and also all the staff and management of the college. And God bless you all. I know I spoke a
Thank
lot.
you.
I did not use a standard PowerPoint presentation, but I always believe that change is something that needs to happen in people. I decided to change. I said, no more PowerPoint presentation. I don't want a PPT to control what I'm going to do. So that's why I very consciously said no PowerPoint presentation. But the true success of this session, all right, is if one or two of you can get back and say, you know what, this session was really useful. Or even if one person can get back and say, you know what, Greg, I did not gain anything from your session. Your session was the most boring session. If I get any feedback from even one person, okay, whatever it is, I think I've had the impact that I intended to do. If it helped you, well and good. If it did not help you, let me know so that I'll be able to deliver a better session next time around. So thank you all for the opportunity. I've had a lot of fun interacting with all the students. Thank you all for asking those questions. I think the YouTube batch, okay, you guys are phenomenal for the number of questions that you've been posing, and also not to mention, I don't know what are the technical challenges you've been facing, whether unmuting and speaking was an issue, but whatever it is, as much as you got to learn from the session, I think I have learned enough from interacting with a bunch of youngsters who are going to be ruling tomorrow. All right. So God bless you all. Jai Hind. Take care of yourselves. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Janardhan sir, you'd like to speak something?
Yeah, ma'am. Manoj sir, thank you very much on behalf of ICT Academy for your wonderful session today. And also, thank you very much for the college management and respected principal ma'am and HODs of all departments. And special thanks to the students for active participation throughout the session. And also the ICT Academy coordinator, Dr. Naveen sir, thank you very much for your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lahari and Dr. Naveen sir, for making this session really interactive and wonderful. I hope all the students have gained immense knowledge as well as connect to actually introspect what exactly is going to be your goal setting from here on. Thank you, everyone. I think we can close this session. If you have any feedback, you can ask Lahari. Otherwise, we can close the session.
Larry, go for vote
Ja-
of thanks.
Yeah.
Vote of thanks. I'll just
Yeah,
vote
please.
of thanks, ma'am. Okay. So now I request Ms. Vedasvi, MSCS third year, to propose vote of thanks. Over to you, Veda.
Thank you, Lahari. I am Vedasvi B of third year MSCS, Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College, Tirupati. On behalf of Sri Vidyaniketan Degree College, I would like to propose vote of thanks. I thank our today's esteemed speaker, Mr. Gregory Manoj sir, for taking out his valuable time to enlighten our students. I thank our chairman, Padma Shri Dr. Manchu Mohan Babu uncle and our revered CEO, Manchu Vishnu Anna, for always inspiring our students. I would like to thank the ICT Academy. The ICT Academy State Coordinator, Mr. Harinarayana sir, ICT Academy State Academy Relational Manager, Mr. Janardhan sir, and their team for giving us this wonderful platform to expand our knowledge expertise. I would also like to express my humble and gratitude towards our principal, Dr. D. Ashalata ma'am. I also thank our department heads and faculties for attending the session. I extend my thankfulness towards Dr. B. N. Naveen Kumar sir, ICT Academy Coordinator, for organizing such a thoughtful session for our students. I thank our management and the organizing committee, Ms. Soundarya Lahari S., Ms. P. Shravana Durga, and other students for all their help. I finally thank all the participants and YouTube participants. Without you, the session would not be a success. Thank you, one and all. Over to you, Lahari.
Thank you, one and all. Sir, shall I end the session, sir?
Yes, Amma,
Sure.
you can end the session.
Thank you.
Thank you, one and all.